All right, tell me when.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We officially started our game prep, game planning for Boise today. Scout teams, everything that goes with that. Had a good Tuesday practice as far as our routine goes. We'll have a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then next week we'll go another Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just being first game and everything that goes with that. But overall, it was good to start concentrating on another opponent and not ourselves, and you can tell our guys are excited about that. Questions?
Coach, what did you learn from camp, and do you feel like some of the questions you had have been answered?
Yeah, personnel was our big thing, and just trying to get our guys all to come together and just understand the standard and the expectations. I really think that we have accomplished that. I mean, there's nothing like a real game. I mean, we'll learn a whole lot. We'll learn more the first game, probably the first half, than we have the whole spring. I mean the whole fall camp. But that's part of it. Being a new staff here. We've got we got new transfers, we got new freshmen, we got guys that from last year's team, so it's all new. But just trying to put our guys in as many situations as we can to simulate a game.
You mentioned one of your main goals for fall camp was to fill out your 2-deep depth chart. Do you feel like there are some positions you still need to, maybe work on or focus on?
We do have a 2-deep depth chart. Now I'm not ready to release that. That'll be next week as far as that goes. But we do have some mixing and matching, some guys that have chances to still step up. Probably special teams is the biggest area that you still have question marks about, but always trying to improve that depth. Got some young guys that I feel like just need a little more time, but at the same time we got to be prepared to play our first game.
Gus, you mentioned getting prepared for Boise State. What is your early assessment of that team right now, and how much work have you really done?
Well, they're a team that's used to winning. They're a very good traditional winning program. They got a lot of returners back there used to winning and playing a high level, and that's our biggest challenge. I mean, I think this is a great test for us, but we have a lot of respect for them.
What are you seeing from your team in terms of tackling ability?
We've stressed tackling, not just defensively, but special teams. That's a big factor, especially early if the game's played in space, which their offensive coordinator likes to do some things, spreading people out and all that. So tackling will be a big factor.
How would you assess the versatility in the running back group? I mean, are these guys who can do a lot of different things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, just having a downhill run component, with everything else that we do is a very, very big thing for us. I think that one of the advantages we have is, our offensive line's all back. They're an experienced group, and I think that, you can build upon that. And just as the course of the season goes with either injuries or nicks and all that, we do have guys that played before, and I think that helps, obviously, and it helps with the running game too.
Defensively, obviously, Travis, you came in and tried to establish the defensive philosophy. What have you seen from that group as you guys get prepared? Yeah,
Coach Williams has done a great job with the staff, and just trying to be simple so we can play fast. They just about got their 2-deep, who's where, and all that, and they're starting to get the plan together. And but I've been very impressed with that group as a whole. It's completely different than the spring. Just feels different, looks different. Obviously, we got some additions to what we already had, and that's helped too.
A player that you're very, very familiar with announced that he's transferring to UCF, Joey Gatewood. If you can talk about that, can you tell us what he'll provide to the room, and would he be a guy that would be eligible this year, or is that something you'd have to work for?
Yeah, well, first of all, Joey's an excellent human being. He's a very talented young man that obviously I coached before. He's not eligible now. We'll look at waivers and all that. We'll see what that looks like in the future, but he's a guy that is extremely talented and can provide value to our team.
Sorry, I got just what you mentioned. You guys have a few more practices this week, next week. What are you trying to focus on? Obviously, you turn towards Boise State, but what else do you feel like you need to work on? I guess.
I think it's more of game planning. It's more of predicting what we're going to get offensively, defensively, and special teams, and getting good at what we want to get. Because the thing about a first game, I mean, you've got an idea, but you get there and things may be completely different about a first game. So you always got to be able to adjust. So we're keeping that in mind. We're trying to be fairly simple and try to get really good at a few things defensively, offensively, and special teams, and get our guys, programmed for the different things they could see.
How would you describe the competition for that backup quarterback spot?
Yeah, it's good. Mikey has done a really good job. Quad has had a few, injury or offset days that he wasn't able to be a part of early, but those two guys are competing. But Mikey's done a really good job, when he's had opportunities in scrimmages, and Quad's done some good things too.
Coach, how do you scheme for a new team with a new coach that wasn't on the previous staff, even though he was a player there?
Yeah, of course he was there before as a defense coordinator, so he's very familiar. They got a lot of carryover, and a lot of guys from his tree, got a chance to go against him when he was defense coordinator at Oregon, when he did a super job, game planning, a super job just defensively. He's a very good coach. Like I said, they're a program that's used to winning at a high level, and he's very familiar with the situation, and kind of reminds me when I was I was at Auburn. I left for a year, and I came back, and I'm sure he's still familiar with some of the players that were freshmen and how they operate. So I think that's a familiar thing for him with his program.
As you talked about, obviously taking over play calling duties when you came back here. It's been a little bit of a while since you did that. Is anything new for you? I mean, to come in here and try to get yourself ready for that, or is it? No,
I think when you do something for 29 out of the 31 years or 28 out of 30 years, it comes natural. It's just a matter of us. We've been working hard to identify our strengths, identify the strengths of our quarterback, and build the stuff around him. And so we're working hard to do that. And I think we'll be an offense that you'll see us able to improve, each week. But I do like our guys. I like the personnel that we have.
Unfortunately, COVID and Delta variants, in the news, your former school's kind of going through some issues right now. I know before camp you said vaccination rate was 70%. Did that improve? Is that still there? Or is that maybe a little bit better than where it was?
Yeah, it's improved. I can't sit here and tell you today exactly what the percent is, but it's I'd say probably much improved is the best way to put that.
Is there just continuing education on that, and how do you get closer to the season?
We're constantly trying to educate our guys. They're going to make their decisions, but we're going to educate our guys, and I think so far we've handled it well. There's still the stress of reality that is running rampant all around you, so our guys have been responsible. We'll continue to do that, but at the same time, I think not just us, everybody around college football, they got to be prepared to adjust. Whether they're vaccinated, non-vaccinated. You see people getting it left and right that are non-vaccinated. So we just got to be as COVID-etic as we can and be ready to adjust.
Just after working with him for months and these couple of weeks in camp, what's your trust level with Dylan Gabriel right now?
Dylan's one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, and it's been just us getting familiar with each other and getting a feel for what he likes and what he feels good about. Whether it's him or any other quarterback we've had, you want to build it around their strengths, and so it's just one of those things. There's been great communication. Him and Coach Kenny have done great working together, and but he's a real cerebral guy. And he knows what he likes. He's a great competitor. His teammates really feed off of him. He's not one of those guys to get in their face all the time, but when he talks, people listen. And he does have a special gift.
Coach, high school football gets started in Florida in earnest this Friday. As a former coach, do you still have a fondness for that game? And what would you tell players and coaches getting ready for this one?
Oh, yeah. High school football, as good as it gets. And, the seasons and, just wishing all the teams in Florida the best, coaches and players. And like I said, we'll be keeping a close eye on it. Obviously, we're recruiting this state, and I think you can already see the emphasis we put, and we'll continue to try to get the top players from this state to come be a part.
You mentioned earlier about special teams still trying to sort out who your return guys will be. Is that something you think you're going to be clear on going into the first game, or you're going to have to pick some?
Yeah, we're pretty clear right now. I just don't want to tell anybody, unless it gets closer to the game, but we've got a good idea.
I think I asked Travis Lucas about this last week. Corey Thornton was a true freshman. He started every game last season at cornerback. Him and Devontae Brown, how are those two developing? What does that cornerback room look like?
Yeah, you know, they're not freshmen anymore. I think that's probably the best thing I can say. And I think both those guys have grown and really responded well to the coaches, you know, and done a really good job. And, you know, college football, there's nothing like experience. You know, when you're a freshman, you're still trying to figure out what's going on a lot of times. But being able to go through spring and then, hey, you know, they're sophomores now and they've seen a lot of different things. And I think that's really helped.
Terry Majer made a splash last week with his facility unveiling at the Board of Trustees meeting. How exciting is that for you, just to see some of the plans in store for the next few years? And that's something you've already fired off to recruits, kind of showing them what UCF may look like in a few years.
Yeah, I tell you what, first of all, it's extremely exciting for me. It's exciting for our staff, our players. I mean, they saw it and they're excited, and that gets me excited. And just, you know, we got big goals, big dreams. We put ourselves out there. With that, you got to keep up. And, you know, Terry's done a super job, you know, with his just his dream and how he sees things, and I'm 100% on board and real excited about it.
I guess I got one more. I know you're probably not going to go through a depth chart right now. You said maybe next week, but I know there's a few true freshmen that you've mentioned at various times. I know Mikey Keene's been mentioned. Are there any other true freshmen? I don't know if you'll name names that maybe have a chance to help you this year.
Yeah, I'd rather not name names right now, but I will. We'll put a depth chart out late next week right there, and you know, and everything will be very clear.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Guys.